Hi, this is Jason with Fly Letter Comics Collectibles coming at you with another toy review. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars Shadows of the Empire Leia and Boushh disguise with blaster rifle and bounty hunter helmet from the Power of the Force 2 line from 1996. So the first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at the packaging. Alright, so taking a look at this guy, so it kind of strays a little bit from the normal Power of the Force toy line. So this is a sub-line in the Power of the Force 2 line. This came out in '96. This is, right at this point they only had the orange carded figures, and then they came out with this. And it looks really nice. You can see Leia in her Boushh disguise. Now some people call it, Boushh or Boushh, but I typically say Boushh. But I mean, there's a lot of discrepancy online of how they describe or how you say it. But you can see up right above her head, it says Shadows of the Empire. It's a purple card, like a purple lightsaber, and it's got a nice foil picture of, the Boushh disguise. But let's take a look at the back. And on the back, it just shows on the top, it just gives you the classification card that you can cut out if you want to do that. It gives you a little background of the figure. Also shows some other toys in the toy line. So from the Shadows of the Empire, it's got the Dash Rendar's Outrider. They have the Snow Speeder. It's got some of the deluxe figures, and then some of the rest of the figures from the Shadows of the Empire and some of the other movie toys and stuff. And what's funny is they kind of have it intermixed. So you can actually see this is Luke Skywalker, Jedi Knight, in his black cloak, and they have him intermixed with some of the other Shadows of the Empire toys. But let's get this guy opened up. Alright, so taking a look at this figure, so this is obviously one of the more iconic looks because, Leia did have this, the Boushh disguise in the Return of the Jedi. But I guess during the storyline of the Shadows of the Empire, this played a major pivotal role, so they released it for the Shadows of the Empire line. But they could have easily put this out for the regular Power of the Force line. But pretty nice sculpt for the figure, so it's got the typical, it bends, it turns at the waist, can move the legs, move the arms, turn the head, and that's it for the articulation, just like with all these Power of the Force figures for the first few series. She comes with her blaster rifle, which really just looks like a spear. I'm really not sure how they would actually shoot that, but it's just like it looks like a big stick with, some components on the bottom. And also sculpted into her left hand is the thermal detonator. And that's a pretty neat touch, because obviously if they made something that small for her to hold, it would probably fall out of her hand. So that she always has that thermal detonator that we actually saw in the Return of the Jedi. She's got a nice cape on the back, which does come off, which I did show. It does fall off pretty easy, and it's because the peg in the back is pretty small, and it also has like a little part that kind of like slides into a little hole, so it looks like it's actually like clamped in, which is actually a really nice touch to the figure. And then obviously with the disguise feature, you can actually pull off the mask. So we're going to pull it off. Now this mask is tight. So one of the worries is that this will possibly rub the paint off the figure if you use it a lot. But it's just pretty much a soft rubber mask. I mean, you can squeeze it and it just slides over her head. And it's got a really nice look to it. Now the one thing with this, as opposed to like the Stormtrooper mask that I showed earlier, when you put this on and you actually look at it, you can actually see the human skin underneath. It doesn't slide all the way over and kind of hide that, so it doesn't fit as good as it probably could. It fits tight, but it's not. It maybe could have gone down a little bit lower on the neck, so you wouldn't see her skin. Also with this figure, there's a lot of inconsistencies with the paint. I've seen this, like this figure is different than the one that I actually showed in package. I actually have two of them. The one in the package, her lips are painted really funny, and I saw that a lot when these were released in the store. And this one looks much better. I actually, when I originally got my first figure, which is this one, I made sure that she didn't look ridiculous. It's got a much better sculpt of Leia's face than we've seen before. She actually looks more feminine as opposed to that beefy Leia look. And here's the facial sculpt to the original Leia, and then we scroll over and you can see it's still kind of the same, but this one actually, you could actually take her for a woman. This one just looks kind of beefy. And I don't think it helps with the buns in her hair, but this one, you know, she definitely looks more feminine. So overall final impressions of this figure, it's a great character sculpt. Obviously it's an iconic character or, you know, or costume that we saw in the Return of the Jedi. And like I said, they really could have released this in either, you know, this subline or the other line. And I think they actually did release this a little bit later in a different sculpt. Great look. The blaster, you know, it was in the movie, but I mean, it doesn't really look like a blaster. I mean, I guess it's really open for your interpretation or imagination. The sculpt, I mean, some people might like that thermal detonator sculpted in her hand. I prefer that. I like that touch to it, especially for displaying. It's just with her mask, I feel like I wish they would have went down a little bit lower on each side so you wouldn't see the skin coming out. But that's pretty much, you know, kind of nitpicking the figure. But once again, this has been Jason with Violent Comics Collectibles. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.